Hi family, I'm Dr. Brenda Woburiasti. I'm a licensed daycare provider, a published author of 3 children's books, an advocate, a consultant, a veteran's wife, and a mother. If you need help setting up your daycare service or just looking for great ideas to incorporate a play-based learning approach as well as learn about research-based solutions to issues impacting education, this is the channel for you. Subscribe, share, like. Thank you. Yay! I was invited to participate in Virginia Department of Education's Early Learning and Development Micro Credential program. I did the program and I'll be getting $100 for participating. That money I'm going to be giving back to my subscribers when I celebrate my 1,500 subscribers. But today, let's talk about approaches to play and learning. Okay. This is the area 1 and it's the approaches to play and learning. Approaches to play and learning focuses on how young children learn regardless of content, subject matter, and engaging in learning. And these differences may reflect the child's temperament, home culture, parental caregiving. For example, some children may be more likely to seek adult assistance, while others tend to try to solve a problem independently. So it just depends on how children are growing up, depends on their home culture, and that's how they react to different situations. So while all children play and learn, their means of engagement may differ. It is essential that caregivers and educators expect and understand these differences so they may provide the appropriate support as they work with all children in their care. Simply put, every child is unique and different. No 2 children are the same, and no 2 children are going to act exactly the same way when they play. So it talks about curiosity and initiative. And it talks about creativity and imagination, and they are all labeled. So APL3, executive functions in cognitive self-regulation, and you can see all the sub areas. For instance, behavioral self-regulation, managing actions and behavior. So, and that's one thing I really like about these standards. They give you the main standard, and then they give you the sub one, and they also explain how you can identify the standards in children while they play. Okay, so and then it splits the ages also. So in early infancy, 0 to 8 months, it shows awareness of what is going on around them by turning their head and looking around. Shows excitement with facial expressions, vocalizations of physical movements. So when the child then becomes 6 to 14 months, this is how they're going to do it. They're going to show interest in new experiences such as reaching out to touch rain, hearing a new song, or examining new items. And then early toddler 12 to 24 participates in new experiences, begins to ask questions and experiments with new materials. And then when they are 22 to 36 months, they ask questions about materials and how they are used, shows interest and awareness in changes in the environment. So that's why if you have 3-year-olds and up, they're going to ask questions about everything, 2-year-olds too. Why? But why? Turn the lights off. Why should I turn the lights off? So the next one is taking initiative. In early infancy, you can, which is 0 to 8 months, explores their own body by mouthing and clapping hands and by kicking and touching their feet. Later infancy, which is 6 to 14 months, explores objects using their senses and by manipulating them in a variety of ways, e.g. bangs and shakes and throws. Early toddlers, 12 to 24, this is how they're going to show it. The indicator initiates activities of interest and tries to get others involved. And then later, toddler 22 to 36 tries out different ways of using new materials. So they're beginning to get very creative and they are using new materials in various different ways. Early preschool, 34 to 48 months, purposely tries different ways of doing things to see what happens, e.g. builds ramps with different blocks to make their cars go faster and faster. These various indicators, they are amazing to watch. And if we're still talking about area 1, approaches to play and learning. Now we're talking about creativity and imagination, and then showing creativity and imagination, and then the indicators are right here. Okay, for early infancy, explores toys and safe objects with hands and mouth. You can see it's not much there. They are not expected to do a whole lot. As they grow older, look at 44 to 60 months, represents reality through the arts and with art materials, e.g. by creating stories, by drawing or enacting experiences in dramatic play, utilizes realistic and open-ended materials in cooperative play, shows purpose and inventiveness in play, e.g. collects different shapes of blocks to build a castle. So as a child gets older, their brain begin to be more imaginative, which is very, very expected because their brains are growing, their knowledge is expanding. Okay, so let's talk about focusing and paying attention. Do I expect my 0 to 8 month old daycare child or my own child to focus at this age? Not really. Okay, let's see what the developmental indicators are. With adult support, starts to filter distractions to focus on people or objects in the environment. Limits sensory input by breaking gaze and shifting attention. They're not on here. I don't see that infants can learn mathematics or they can learn letters, These are the minor indicators that you can see, that you can begin to think, oh, looks like this baby has some aspects of focus and paying attention in them. Demonstrates, this is when the child becomes 6 to 14 months. So they are demonstrating increasing ability to attend to people, objects, and activities, e.g. quiets more. I don't know if that is quiets. Oh, I know what that is. Okay, quiets motor movements and slows intense concentration. And then notices when something expected does not happen. Kicks a toy repeatedly and notices the movement of the toy. So as you can see, as they are getting older, their attention and focus is becoming more, and they are expected to have more attention and pay more attention and focus even more intently. Okay, so let's look at 34 to 48 months. With adult prompts and support, focuses attention on activities like listening to stories read to a group for short periods of time in spite of interruptions or distractions, and stays with a variety of tasks that interest them, e.g. plays in a dramatic play and block area for 10 minutes. Okay, if you look at 22 to 36 months, it says sustains interest with 1 or 2 tasks that engage them. For instance, I can tell my 2-year-old to pick up something and bring it to me, and then I watch and see how they do that, how they work on that. Executive functions and cognitive self-regulation, and then building working memory, and then the developmental indicators. Okay, so for early infancy, shows recognition of familiar faces and voices by attending to the person. So this child is at this stage is beginning to recognize faces and voices. They usually start with their moms or their primary caregivers. And then for later infancy, shows recognition and memory of familiar faces and objects over longer periods of time, since last seen. So this goes beyond the moment. And then when we go to the 44 to 60 months, which is 4 to 5, remember several steps in sequence to complete multi-step directions, e.g. complete a puzzle, return it to the shelf, and join the group at the rug. See, remembers actions that go with stories or songs. So at this stage, they're beginning to learn sequencing. What happened at the beginning? What happened in the middle? What happened at the end? Why did that happen? And now they're beginning to express themselves and talk about things they read about or things they saw previously actually it could be in the same context or in a different context, but not something that, they're able to say what they saw at the moment, but also something they saw previously. So their memory has increased at that stage. So executive functions and cognitive self-regulation, thinking flexibly and adapting. Now, how do we know? What are the indicators? For 0 to 8 months, explores object by putting in the mouth and then rattling or shaking. So babies can put toys in the mouth, they can shake it. That means they're thinking flexibly and they're adapting as well. And then if we go to, for instance, 22 to 36 months, that is 2 to 3 years, adjust to changes in routines when informed in advance. Identify signals for changes between activities. Makes transitions that are part of a daily schedule. So, and it even gets more complicated as they get older. So look at the 4 to 5 year olds, adopts to new rules in game or activity, e.g. sorting cards by color and then by shape. Considers ideas from adults and other children in finding a solution or strategy. Now, the good thing about these indicators, about these early learning developmental standards, is that these are just basic suggestions that children can do at these particular ages, but they are not rigid. They are guidelines. They are not. This is not a measuring tool. It's just a guideline to help you teach the children better at the stage they are in. So now we're talking about the next one, APL 3.4, which is inhibiting responses. So these are the indicators for 0 to 8, which is very interesting. The developmental progression of this focus area is more explicitly evidenced later in infancy. So see how it's empty all the way to 2 years, and then it starts here, 22 to 36 months. Begins to take turns and waits in lines for short periods of time with adult support. Yeah, if you've worked with 1 to 2 year olds, actually 0 to 2 year olds, you will know that they are just beginning to understand the concept of taking turns, of waiting. They are very impatient. They want what they want now. No compromise, So it's something to consider when you're working with that age group. Okay, so now let's talk about the APL 3.5, which is persisting and problem solving. The indicators: cries persistently until needs are met. That's for the early infancy. And then repeats attempts to communicate or repeats actions to get desired action or object. So this is the infant stage. Now let's go all the way to, for instance, let's go to 22 to 36 months. Practices a skill or activity many times, even with difficulty, e.g. building a taller block tower or balancing on a log or balance beam. That means that They are no longer falling out, or well, expected to fall out and cry persistently until their needs are met. Now they're able to express themselves, they're able to think, they're able to solve their simple problems by themselves, or they're able to ask for adult intervention in solving the certain problems that they may have. And it gets better as they get older. If you look at the 4 to 5 year old, sometimes persist in less preferred activities with or without adult support, figures out more than one solution to a problem, e.g. using packing tape with strings to hold cardboard pieces together when making taps doesn't work. So now these 4 to 5 year olds, they are beginning to solve kind of complex problems, depending on the age group before them, like 0 to 3. So they are beginning to solve problems, more complex problems. Okay, so the APL 4.1, managing actions and behaviors. Let's look at the baby. Response to caregivers' attempt at regulation, e.g. by rocking, by talking to a child. So this baby at 0 to 8 months, when they're crying, you hold them, you rock them, they begin to calm down. For instance, like when babies have colic, all you can do is hold the baby and soothe the baby. When they have pain, you hold them and soothe them. They quiet down. So that's how they deal with that. That's how they manage those behaviors. And those are the developmental indicators for early infancy. How about we go to the 44 to 60 months? Follows classroom rules and routines more independently, e.g. morning arrival. Do you think that I can teach an infant 0 to 8 months to follow rules in my classroom? Come on now. That would be absolutely insane, unless even if the child is a genius, because 8 months old, 0 to 8 month old, they are not built like that. They are just learning the world. They are getting to know the environment, and the indicators of these behaviors are different, but they do get more complex as the child gets older. So there's a lot to learn here, guys, a lot to learn here. And this is something you're going to hold on to like a Bible, and you keep looking at it every now and then. If you get confused, you go back and check it. You go back and match a particular child in your classroom with the developmental standards that you have in the ELDS, and this will help you to be a better preschool teacher. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to keep doing this series and bring you more information on the ELDS. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye.